Alright, so here we are on this far east side attempting to get the boss key. Now in this room it can be very confusing because it's a maze and it literally goes up and down and underwater and above water, so it can be a little confusing, so just follow my instructions carefully and I will take you through this area. First you want to jump into the water and then immediately put on your iron boots. Then you just want to fall off the ledge and go down to the sandy bottom floor here. You'll immediately be confronted by a shell blade, which you can kill if you wish. Then you want to continue on through this little passage and go past the seaweed here. Now at this point the path actually forks off into several different directions, most of which lead to dead ends. You want to ignore the barring and swim up to the upper south section. Just follow your mini-map to get to the south. Now here you'll find a new enemy called a bombfish, which looks just like the water bombs. Who would have thought? So I guess this is very similar to the bomblings that we saw in the forest temple. You can slash them with your sword or hit them with your Clawshot, which will bring them right into your hands, causing them to begin exploding. You want to lay it in front of the boulder, or you can use one of your regular water bombs to blow it up. Now this makes me curious, how does Barnes actually get his water bombs? I didn't see any tanks, filled with water or anything in his shop, but maybe somehow he dries them out to preserve them somehow, and they still explode. But maybe the Zoras give them to him, I don't know, just how the Gorons bring him ingredients, maybe the Zoras bring him bombfish? Anyway, you want to swim into the next area, and then float to the surface, and you'll find a small chest at the top containing water bombs. If you're full on water bombs, they will give you regular bombs instead, but this is a clue that you can use them in case you're out in order to blow up this boulder. So, I guess, give you a stack of 10 water bombs and just use one of them, I guess. There's actually another passageway in this same room, but it leads to a dead end, and this is the direction we actually want to go. Once you blow up the boulder, you'll see there's a shell blade inside this little passageway. You want to kill it using stabbing attacks to get past its defenses, and then head on through this way. Now this little area actually zigzags back and forth, so it can be kind of confusing and disorienting looking, but you just go back and forth while swimming upward and you'll get through this area. Once you get to the top, you want to climb up onto the platform and enter the only door you find here. In this room, you'll be locked alone with a chew worm that is in this room. You'll find that it's a dead end, so you want to kill the chew worm, which should be really easy for you. And you'll see that there's a suspicious grating that is on the floor. You can look at it, and you'll see that it has the symbol of the Zoras upon it. So you look up, and you'll find a target. So Clawshot to it. This will unlock the grating. And you'll find that once you release it, though, the grating closes before you can fall through. So how do you complete this puzzle? You want to use your Clawshot on the target again, then lower yourself until you are past the grating. Then you can release it and allow yourself to fall through this little small platform with a fancy chest that is containing the big key. Now I like this little puzzle, it's pretty cool, but you'd think that it would, I don't know, catch on the top right there with your Clawshot. You drop down and it catches right there, and sorry, you're just stuck. There's no way to get down except to leave your Clawshot behind. That's the end of the dungeon for you. Anyway, with big key in hand, you want to go ahead and hop into the water. Just watch out for the skullfish that are in this room. You want to put on your iron boots and go through the door to emerge into the passageway that leads back to the underwater maze. You can kill the Bari up ahead if you like, because they're kind of annoying, but they aren't too hard to sneak past either, so you could just swim past them, which is what I'd recommend. This room is actually a lot easier now. We're just going to head right back to the entrance. Now we don't really have much to deal with, and it's a lot easier to get back to the entrance, so that's pretty cool. Now that I have a chunk of time to speak, I'm actually going to talk about these skullfish that are in the previous room. So, these skeletal fish act like traditional piranhas, so they kind of act like you'd expect. We've actually seen them in a few of the other Zelda titles as well, such as Majora's Mask. There's also a variation of them in Adventure of Link called Bago Bagos. Now just a quick thought, because they're piranha-like and obviously magical in nature, and they're all skeletal, that's why they can survive. But does that mean that they eat the meat off of each other as well, or did they never have the meat to begin with? Just a weird thought. Anyway, if you find yourself trapped in the water with these skullfish and you're at the same elevation as them in the water, then they'll actually come over and attach themselves to you. So you can simply swim away really quickly, or you can sink down and slash your sword, or you can climb out of the water to get them away from you. So those are three good methods to get them away from you. You don't really deal with them very much, so they're not too much of a problem. Once you make it back through this door, you'll be back in this very large, obnoxious room with the turning gears. You want to latch on to one of the targets on the first gear, then lower yourself to land once you get to this midpoint between the two gears. Now the second gear, it actually has 3 targets on it, but 2 of them are being taken up by some of those platforms that are spinning around. So you want to latch onto the single target that does not have a chain attached to it. This one is claw-shotable. You'll be able to use it to get back to the entrance of this room. So this room is kind of obnoxious, and hopefully you don't fall off into the abyss. Once you make it back to this bridge, you can kill the Tektitans here if you wish, but they're pretty easy to avoid, so I recommend just sneaking past them and enter back into the main room. So now that we have water flowing from both sides of the dungeon at long last, we finally have raised the water inside the central chamber level. It is now raised up to the boss door. So now we can actually access the boss door and you can tackle him right now. However, we're not done just quite yet. There's actually one cool thing that we are capable of doing. So if you would like a piece of heart, you should follow along with me and I will show you how to go grab that. You want to head over to the lower west side. Here I'm actually at the south, if you see my mini-map. So this is the wrong one, I wasn't supposed to grab that one. But head over to the west. They're actually blocked off. You actually have to like use the staircase otherwise. But you can just use your Clawshot as a shortcut to get across to the side. Once you're over here, you want to jump over and grab onto the lever. This will turn the staircase so it is facing this direction, and it will allow the water that is flowing from the upper east section to flow down to the lower west area of the dungeon. Now, we could not have water flowing this direction before, but now we actually have this option, and you didn't even really have this option until we were capable of entering the boss door. So you probably don't even know about this secret unless you were playing around, because it's totally optional. It's not required to beat the dungeon, so you don't even know about it until we are capable of tackling the boss. So that being said, once you finally get over here and the water is flowing into this room, it's very familiar, it will raise the water level in this room, which raises a bridge that leads to the south side of the room. We couldn't access that before, but now that the bridge is raised, we can actually get over here and get to this area. There are several Tektites that are in this room, and several of them will probably follow you, so I'm going to kill them real quick so that I do not have to worry about them here in just a moment. So once again, the best ways to kill Tektites are to use either bomb arrows, you can use the spin attack, or you can use a shield attack plus a jump attack, and all those methods work really well. Usually regular sword attacks like this, they just take a little while in my opinion, especially when you're facing several of them. It just takes a long time. Once they're both defeated, you want to turn back around, you'll see a switch that is on the ground. If you step on it, it will open the gate up ahead, but as soon as you get off it, the gate will begin closing. There's actually a Lizalfos inside, and it may come out and attack you like that one did. But you can defeat him pretty easily, and it's one of the weaker varieties, so he shouldn't give you too much problem. Once again, you can press A directly afterwards to make Link sheath his sword all fancy-like. You want to get back on the switch, and then use your Clawshot to latch onto a target across the way, and then open the large chest to get the second piece of heart found within this dungeon. If you've been following the walkthrough thus far, this should be your 17th piece of heart. To get out of this area, you simply want to use your Clawshot on the target on the ceiling, and then drop down. So that is all we have to do in this area, so you just want to return to the center of the dungeon to get back to the main room. So there are 2 treasure chests left to grab, and I will be getting one of them here in a moment here in the central chamber, but the other one I will not be getting. So now that we have Clawshot, you can actually go get that treasure chest, and it's up on the far west side of the dungeon, up on the, like, as high up as you can go. If you remember that large spiral room where he first unleashed the water into this side of the dungeon, there was a treasure chest that we could not grab. Now that we have a Clawshot, you can actually go all the way up that spiral room, and you can grab it. Now here I'm actually trying to use my Clawshot to latch onto some vines and stuff. Sometimes there's some along the side here, but I didn't see any, so I was frustrated. You can actually use your Clawshot to get over here, where there's another shortcut to get out of this area, which looks like we're going to have to do in order to hop down into the water. Anyways, so this chest, you know, it's just way out of the way, so I will not be grabbing it. It just contains something dumb like bombs or something. So I will not go grab that one. This one, however, I will grab. It's just right here in this room, and I will grab that here in just a second. So here I'm showing on my map where that other treasure chest is. It's way up there. You gotta like use your iron boots to climb up that large spiral platform which now has water flowing down it. It's just a big pain in the butt, totally out of the way. You want to swim under the water here, and just here on this little platform, there is, up to the north, there is a chest containing a red rupee. So you can grab that if you like. Kind of pointless, once again, this dungeon is just filled with rupees. We're almost full now. I'm actually kind of surprised that I still have some room in my wallet at this point. But anyway, you want to swim to the surface, and there are a bunch of these skullfish here. They may come and attack you. Once again, you just want to swim really quickly, or just climb up the surface to get away from them. But there is a door here on the south, and this is the boss door, so we use the big key to open it. And in this room there's actually some jars off on the other side, and you can actually get a fairy in a bottle here. So just want to slash it with your sword, and I like to stand a little far back. That's why I'm kind of swiping it repeatedly, because I have this tendency to get too close and totally miss the fairy because it uses it on me instead. So that is pretty much it for this video, guys. Join me for the next one, and I will show you guys how to defeat the boss of the Lakebed Temple. Go ahead and hop in to initiate the battle.